What is up, it's your boy Giodinho. Welcome back to Giodinho Reacts. And as you can see, I'm in a completely new setting. So what I've basically done is I rebuilt another room in my apartment to what it is now. And honestly, it is, when it comes to setups, or when it comes to backdrops especially, like the best backdrop I've ever had in my entire life, like easily. I've had some other setups, but like the setup that it is now, this one, it's literally on a level. So I basically recorded that build, which I'm going to upload hopefully soon on the main channel, so make sure you subscribe to that as well, link in the description down below. But hopefully this allows me to be a lot more consistent on the channel, since I now have its dedicated space to making content. So hopefully I will be a lot more consistent. Of course, it totally depends on me. But yeah, there's still a couple issues with the room. Like for example, it is still a little bit hollow in here. I don't know if you notice it through the microphone, but for me, I hear a lot of echo. So yeah, that's something I'm gonna need to solve. And honestly, I don't even know how I got a lot of echo, since the room is pretty small and it is already pretty built. But maybe like that corner is just a little bit too empty. Who knows? You'll see in the video. But yeah, like a completely new space. You see my vinyls on this side with the new clock, so you can see at what time I am recording. Of course, in the 24-hour notation for you Americans. The good vibes sign above me, and you know, the sneakers over there. And oh, I missed one sneaker, but yeah, whatever. There's also going to be sneaker over there in the reactions. My setup is over here, my gaming setup, but you can't see that on this camera. So I also basically have like one room for, you know, making the music reaction videos, and also the stream that I'm gonna do on more Giodinho hopefully soon. But the internet needs to be fixed first, because I got some internet issues right now. But yeah, I'm totally in love with this room. But that's not the only thing I wanted to talk about. So basically, these last couple of weeks, I've also been thinking about how I want to make my reactions. Like the layout of the channel itself is not going to change. You know, it's still going to be me every day reacting to a new album. That's not going to change whatsoever. And also how I choose the albums is also going to stay the same. You know, whatever I feel like listening to, basically. Although when I originally started this channel, like 2 years ago, I had this channel for 2 years now. Keep that in mind. But what I did 2 years ago was live streaming, which I've all deleted. And back then I only listened to hip hop and R&B albums, which to this day I still only did. But it is albums like this one over here, for example, Childish Gambino's Awaken My Love, which is of course influenced by a Funkadelic record. That makes me really want to check out a lot of other music besides hip hop and R&B. Another example is going to be an album that I'm going to react to hopefully soon on the channel, like hopefully in a couple days, which is Lil Yachty's Let's Start Here, which is apparently influenced by Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, which is an album I wanted to listen to anyways. But if I like that specific reaction, the Lil Yachty reaction, then I'm of course gonna enjoy listening to Dark Side of the Moon hopefully. So I also want to do a lot more, you know, other music, not just necessarily keep myself tied to hip hop and R&B, because when I originally started the channel, I wanted to, you know, delve deep into the hip hop culture. But what I really came to realize sooner rather than later is that I really love music for the art that it is. Like there's still some genres that I don't enjoy, like heavy metal. You won't ever see me listening to that. It's just not my type of music. But like for example, like Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly, which I've listened to a lot over these past couple of weeks. Like it's honestly insane how many times I've listened to it. Like just the art of how music can be, and not just necessarily when it comes to rapping, but also the production and stuff, you know, with all the instruments, with the bass line by Thundercat, of course, on that album, and all the other elements, you know, James Fauntleroy's angelic vocals on How Much a Dollar Cost. And it really made me realize how beautiful art can be, and not just even in music, also in TV, in movies, you know, in actual paintings, in poems and stuff. I really come to appreciate the art of a lot of stuff. And that is what I really wanted to convey on this channel as well. So not just we're gonna keep myself tied to hip hop and R&B. I'm also gonna do a lot of other music because of the art of it. You know, like the storytelling, what story it tells. Because every great piece of art has a story it tells. And yeah, I just don't want to keep myself tied to like 2 genres or like a couple of subgenres. I really want to experience, you know, the entirety of music. It's not going to be possible probably, since, you know, one album reaction a day, and there's like thousands to hundreds of thousands of albums. So I probably won't even be done until I die, and there's every new album being released every single week. But yeah, like for example, I recently really thought about listening to Phoebe Bridgers, Lana Del Rey, since she has also released a new album like a couple days ago. But like Phoebe Bridgers as well, since I really liked her feature on SZA's Goes in the Machine on SOS. You know, it's just a lot of other music that I also want to start listening to. So yeah, if you have any album reactions you might want to do, of course leave them in the comment section down below. I'll check them out. Like, don't like one more time, like, heavy metal music is not my kind of music, and there's probably also a lot of other stuff that I'm just not into. But like music that's going to be considered great, I probably, you know, will listen to it. Like a lot of older records as well, like by Miles Davis, by Stevie Wonder, by, I don't know, yeah, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, maybe, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of other music I'm going to listen to as well on this channel. But also how I record the reactions is going to change as well, like and how I edit them. Like how I did it previously on a previous setup where you saw the vinyls, you know, right beside me, and I was basically in like the right corner of the frame. Like how I did those is I just recorded the video, like just listened to music straight through, and I just, you know, interjected whenever I felt like talking, if you know what I'm saying. But I never really delved deep into the song. You know, I was just, you know, like, oh yeah, that sounds good, that sounds cool, that sounds great, blah, blah, blah. But I never delved deep into the art of it, you know. So that's what I'm gonna do is basically whenever a song is finished, I'll stop the song, talk about that song, and then continue on to the next song instead of, you know, just continuing straight through. Unless there's like, you know, like with Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, where the All of the Lights interlude delves straight into All of the Lights. Of course, I'll continue that, if you know what I'm saying. But whenever a song is finished, I'll just, you know, stop, talk about the song, and then go on further. Like there's 3 music reaction channels that I've watched a couple times, you know, recently, which are Bop the Pop Up, Turning the Tables, and John Denton. I want to call these 3 out specifically since, or well, shout these out specifically. Call out has a negative connotation, and shout out as a positive one, but yeah. But what I really especially like about Turning the Tables is, you know, while the fact that I got a dynamic going on, so, you know, it's the son and the father talking about the music together, and I don't really have anyone else that I can react to music to with, so I'm gonna do it by myself. Like, it might be possible for me to, you know, get someone else in here, but a lot of people that I know just don't talk English that well, like as I do. Plus, I want to keep to my daily schedule, so that someone also needs to come to my house a lot of times to listen to the music, and it's just not gonna be feasible probably. So I just want to, you know, listen to the music, but that's probably not gonna be feasible. So I'm gonna react to everything myself. And what I really like about them is that they kind of like great dynamic going on, where they don't edit a lot. Like they only really edit the parts where they of the songs, you know, to avoid copyright issues. So that's all something that I want to do, you know, be a lot more raw with my reaction instead of cutting a lot, you know, during my explanation as well. I just want to, you know, whenever there's even like a little bit of silence, I just want to keep that in the video because you can see my raw thoughts. I want to put my emotions more into these reactions, especially when it's like a great emotional album like Blonde or Igor, for example. So yeah, there's that. And then that is what I really like about their channel. Then John Denton. What I've noticed when creating the shorts, you know, of my album reaction shorts, where I basically just put in the highlights of that specific reaction. Like when I got around to editing the ones for like the J Electronica, the early Kali Uchis records, what I did in those reactions, what I didn't do in the later reactions from Scissors Control onwards. And so I also had a lot of effects, which John Denton always does a lot as well. So basically, like, he does a zoom in a lot, or he has like a color filter or whatever. And I also did that back when I did those reactions, when I still had the standing setup instead of the sitting one, which I do now, and with the Scissor Control and SOS reactions. So I just want to be a lot more raw with that as well, or maybe be a little bit more creative with that as well. But at the same time, I also want to be a lot more raw, so with less editing. So I basically want to edit more, but also edit less at the same time. Like, apply more effects, but cut out a little bit less. So that's something I might consider doing. And then there's Bob the Pop-Up, of course, who I also really like watching his reactions, since what he really just does is he has his face cam, he has the Genius lyrics put out on the screen, and he just reacts to the album. And like, but he goes like really deep into the songs. Like every single verse, he basically stops the song and he talks about that specific verse or whatever, and then he goes on to the next verse or to the chorus or to the hook, you know. And like his album reactions just are insanely long. Like for an album that is like 40 minutes long, he has a video that's like almost 90 minutes, which is absolutely insane. Like I don't want to do that. I don't want to delve that deep into the songs. but I still want to delve a little bit deeper than I do now. So basically what Turning the Tables does, and a little bit of About to Pop Up and John Denton sprinkled in for my reactions. So I'm basically gonna put what I think is the greatest aspects of those channels into my reactions. That's something I really want to do. There's still a lot of other great reaction channels out there. You know, you got Vibe Villa, which I absolutely love because they delve deep into the lyrics. Like they just, whenever a rapper spits out of a fire bar, they just catch it immediately, which is absolutely insane. You got the Law Twins. You got there's so many other channels. The Mercurial Number 6, who has a really spoken up personality. You know, yeah, there's a lot of other reaction channels out there, but I just wanted to specifically call out these 3 since, you know, those are the ones I really like watching. Yeah, I think that's basically it. I don't really remember if I had anything else to talk about, but hopefully from tomorrow on, new album reactions. I want to be a little bit more on top of the reactions, like a couple days ahead, which I currently am not. Like this video will hopefully be uploaded on the same day as I recorded. It depends on whether I gotta finish before I need to go to work, which is in like 50 minutes. Probably won't be. If it isn't, then I'll be hopefully 1 day ahead at a time, but I'll try to make that up for myself so I don't have to stress about, you know, getting a reaction out immediately that same day. But that's just really for me to, you know, to delve deep into. But yeah, hopefully you guys are gonna enjoy this reaction. Of course, if you are curious to my reactions to all the other albums, of course, subscribe, like the video, you know, to get myself some traction in the algorithm, blah, blah, blah. That bullshit. And of course, leave me some suggestions in the comment section down below. Of course, Kelly just has released a new album, Red Moon and Venus, which I'm gonna react to, which is probably the first one I'm gonna do, followed by the Lil Yachty record that I was talking about earlier. Let's start here, etc, etc, etc. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Oh yeah, and with the other channels, of course, Giodinho are going to start uploading soon as well on the main channel, since, you know, I got this setup rebuilding video. And more Giodinho I want to do streaming on, but first I got to get the internet issue fixed. So before I can do that. And I also need some games and other stuff that I want to do. I think that's pretty much it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.